Christina Morenstein with the Holistic Health Community, and these are our self-care classes, which we offer to you freely based on sacred reciprocity, which means that if you can donate, we greatly appreciate it, and if you can't, we ask that you pay it forward. Do an act of kindness for somebody. This month we have somebody very special, Judy Swallow, and I want to make sure I get this right, so I'm going to put on my glasses. Judy is a trainer and practitioner of the Rubenfeld Synergy, which is one of the pioneering body-mind approaches to awareness and healing. And she has a private practice in the Hudson Valley for the last 40 years. And she is also the co-creator of Playback Theater, which does performances in Highland, New York. And she is also the co-director of the Hudson Valley Psychodrama Institute. And she will tell you more. She's a very special, wonderful practitioner. I know you're going to enjoy this class. And if you would like to rewatch this class, just go to holistichealthcommunity.org to self-care classes, and you will be able to find this class because you deserve as much self-care as you can get. We all deserve it, we all need it, and with that, I will introduce you to the lovely Judy Swallow.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm happy to share whenever I can. I like to share what I get from Rubenfeld Synergy and pass it on to people who are interested in being curious about stuff. And so Rubenfeld Synergy, what is it? I'll say something about that at the beginning while Barbara's getting ready.
I'm turning my phone off.
Good. Turning phones off, good, excellent. Yeah, everybody else?
Yeah.
Julia will too, excellent. So Rubenfeld Synergy is a synergy, which means that different things come together, and whatever they come together, it's not in addition, it just mushes it all together into something different. So there are parts of it that you'll have a little flavor of during this time, I hope. One is Feldenkrais, the Feldenkrais method, where Moshe Feldenkrais, oops, sorry, let's stick that under mine. Moshe Feldenkrais was a physicist, and he had a terrible injury of his knee, and he was told he would never walk again, and he was very stubborn, and he found different ways so that he could walk again. And all these ways that have gone into our everyday life now, there are hundreds and thousands of Feldenkrais experiments, help sort of trick the nervous system. And you find out that you can do things that you think you can't. So because we have our habits, our life is our habits, you know? And so, so that's one of, I'll give you a Feldenkrais experiment almost at the beginning, but there is Feldenkrais, and there's Alexander technique, which has to do with balance and grounding, and because most of us do all kinds of other things like this, and we don't work well with gravity, so Alexander helps us. Yeah, we can sit up straighter now.
Yeah.
helps us feel like the connection with the earth and the sky, let's say, and we'll do a few things there. So there's the Feldenkrais method, the Alexander technique. There's Gestalt therapy, which has to do with being in the present moment and having dialogues with parts of yourself, and you'll see how we can dialogue with parts of our body for healing and self-care. And then Ericksonian hypnotherapy, which is a fancy word, which really means using imagery, you know, and how it affects you. And a lot of times we have found that if we're imagining something, it really, really affects us, you know, on our cellular level. We're not going to do this here, but there's sometimes in groups, you know, people are in partners, and one person goes out of the room, so they don't know, and one of the members of the partner sort of they're standing, and they imagine themselves with a balloon attached to the top of their head. They just imagine a balloon, and they imagine themselves going up, just lifting up, 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 up. And then the person that's outside comes and puts their arms around them in the back, and doesn't have to lift them off the ground, but feels what they feel like, you know? And then, okay, and then the partner goes out, and then when the person standing imagines roots going down through their feet into the earth, you know, they're getting very deeply rooted like a tree, and then the person comes in and goes, you know, just a little bit of like this, and they can feel such a difference and they, you know, they don't know which is which. They haven't heard anything except you know, inviting somebody to imagine is all what's in the room, and the person outside doesn't know anything. They're just feeling it, you know? So those are things where, you know, people can do with longer workshops and experimenting with how imagery really makes a difference by how we are in the world. Okay, so James, are you here joining? Yes,
May I?
part of the group, by all
May I?
means.
Well, may I?
Yes, you certainly may. Nice to see you again. Okay, so we have introduced ourselves a bit before we start, but just to officially start here, say your first name and the gift you're giving yourself by coming here.
Hello, I am Moriah. The gift I'm giving myself is optimism. The word that led me here is resilience.
Resilience, optimism, and the resilience led you here. You told me a little bit about your story of the last week. So here you are. I'm glad you're safe and sound. Yeah. Okay. And name and gift?
I am Julia, and I am here. I'm thankful for the gift of awareness.
Ah, good. Well, that's what this is all about, right? Awareness, right? Yeah.
I'm Barbara, and the gift that brought me here is the joy of experimenting and trying on new behaviors,
You're
new
in
movements.
the right spot. Good. Welcome, Barbara. Yeah. Good. And
James, and the gift is coming to see you.
bless you. Come to see me. There you go.
See you
Whatever I can do, right? Yeah, that's nice. We haven't seen each other for a number of months, right? And you want to say? Go
Sure.
ahead,
I'm Christina,
Christina.
and I am here for the gift of connecting my body and spirit. It feels a little disconnected recently,
Yeah.
so I'm very interested.
Yeah. Oh, good. Body, mind, and spirit. 'Cause
Yes.
It's the mind, as I can say about lifting and roots and everything else, is amazing what our minds do, and they can be our friends or our enemies. As you talk, Barbara, about awareness, you know, you
She
did,
mentioned
Julia,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
awareness
yeah.
stuff, and you mentioned experimenting. So that's what Rubenfeld synergy is all about, right? First you become aware of something, and then you have a choice to experiment. And, you know, and you can always say no. You know, if I ask you to do some silly things, you say, no way, you know, because that's part of self-care. I think this young man over here said, I hope you say something about self-care being boundaries, you know, being able to have good boundaries, and that's not part of this workshop, but you can say no, and that's a boundary if I ask you to, you know, jump up and down, and it's not going to work for you. So the awareness is really important. Curiosity is what's the key. And sometimes when you become aware, you look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, just, there's the judge comes in. And so to start, I would like you, how many people have a judge that you recognize? An inner judge? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So let's honor our judge. We can use our imagination and see what our judge looks like. Imagine what our judge looks like. Maybe what our judge is wearing. I don't know. Because that's been with us for a while. You kind of learn how to do it way back when. And I would like you to have a little ceremony for honoring. You just do it all in your imagination. You honor your judge, your internal judge. Give them an appreciation, a scroll or a gold watch or anything you'd like to do, and appreciate for all the way that it's been trying to, keep you in line or keep you safe or get you whatever it's doing. And we don't have time to go into the particular dialogue with you and your judge, but you can imagine not pushing it away, but giving it a plane ticket to a beautiful spot somewhere in the world. People say, no, I want to send my judge to, Siberia. No, because then your judge wants to come back. Imagine your judge in a beautiful place, right? And say, thank you so much for all the hard work you've done. And we'll invite your judge to go to this beautiful place so you can be here to be experimenting and curious about anything. And your judge is happily doing something else.
On vacation.
On vacation. Your judge is on vacation, a well-deserved vacation. Exactly. So, were you able to do that? I have a specific beach, and my judge, I do this often enough to know exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I said that I would show you something, a Feldenkrais thing that I often do. I like it because there's no judgment in it at all. So here is something I like. Fold your fingers or interlace your fingers, right? Okay, and look down and see what thumb is on top. What thumb is on top there, Christina?
My left thumb is
Left.
on top.
Okay, Mariah?
Also
Okay, my right? Left?
Right.
Left. Well, this is a very unusual group because it's usually 50-50, in every group. But this group is specifically unusual. It is usually 50-50. But here's the experiment. Take your fingers and interlace them the exact opposite way. And feel what that feels like in your body. No, not that way, silly goose. So fold your interlace your fingers. Okay, now change this next finger. And change this thing.
got it.
Yeah, and change that thing. Yeah. It takes. I did this with a whole bunch of medical people once. I loved it. All these doctors was looking down. I thought, okay, so you do the opposite. What does it feel like when you're doing the opposite? Somebody else's habitual.
It feels weird.
Weird. What's another word? Weird.
Feels strange.
Strange.
Tense.
Tense.
Less solid.
Less solid. What does it feel like, James? Off balance?
Off balance.
Yeah. Some people say, my pinky is lost, or I'm holding somebody else's hand, or something like that too. Okay. So that's kind of like your body is going, right? So put your habitual. And this is your, this is my habitual. But then what you did, do it to the non-habitual again. When it's non-habitual, in your brain, across your corpus callosum, between your right and left hemispheres, new pathways are starting. Just right now, new pathways. And what you're doing is somebody else's habitual, right?
Right.
Kind of interesting. And you feel a little funny. Some people feel it in their tummies. You know, they feel a little funny in their stomach or off balance, you were saying.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm clenching
Uh-huh.
so hard.
Ah, yeah, it's so different, right? And then come on back. So you know you can do this. And any time that you're kind of feel stuck somewhere, you know, like nobody needs to know you're doing some work on yourself. You are engaging your nervous system to give yourself the message that something else. Did you do it? The whole thing? Yeah? All the letters, all the fingers? Yeah. Does it feel weird? Yeah. They're good. You're doing good brain chemistry for yourself.
So is this left brain dominant if the left's on top?
No, but you know, a lot of
Right
people will say, how come? Right? Yeah. But it's not. It's not true. How it is, because people would ask all these questions. I say, I'll tell you at the end. It's how you first folded your hands when you were maybe a little kid in church or in school, and that's how you did it for the rest of your life. Isn't that something? Right. Yeah, I know where you came from. So it's your habit. And I like this because I've done this. I used to work in a hospital where some people were working around addiction stuff. And they've been told forever, this is wrong, this is bad. And this kind of thing is just different. That's all. There's no good, bad, which I like. Because there are people who do live in that shame. Dyslexic logic. That's certain interesting.
My son is dyslexic.
Well, see if he can
It's
see
a
if he can
different kind of,
way of looking at it.
yeah, that's true too.
It's a different way, right? It keeps you alert. Yeah.
If we want to hear the questions, maybe repeat
Yeah,
the questions.
yeah. That wasn't particularly a question. It was a
Yeah.
tangent. Yeah. So there are 3 things that I would like to cover here and do some experiments with. One is for self-care, breathing. We have our own habits of breathing, you know, and we're still alive, so we're doing that. But we can play with them a little bit. So breathing, grounding, and energy. Those are the 3 things that I want to touch on, so to speak. And so, there's meditations from all over the world, and you know, how many people do breathing meditations, awareness through breathing? Yeah. So we'll play with a little bit of it, and you have to put your glasses on to see, and I will take my glasses off to see. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so here's the first thing, is awareness. Just notice your breathing. That's all. And without changing anything, because you notice and say, oh, no. First of all, without changing anything, just no judgment. If you're slumped in your chair, maybe your breath isn't going down as far as it could, or it's all right. It is what it is. And as you're breathing, notice what parts of your body are moving with your breath. You're not changing anything. This is hard, actually.
It is.
Yeah. So, what parts are changing, are moving? So, like, tune in and notice if your chest is moving. Notice if your belly is moving in and out. Notice if your pelvis is rocking softly. And just notice kind of what you're telling yourself with breath. Notice if you breathe in more easily than out, or out more easily than in. And then, yeah. Now, here's another thing. Does your breath stop after the inhale? Or does it stop after the exhale? Or you just go inhale, exhale, exhale? So just notice what is, right?
Try all kinds of breathing things.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just knowing what is. Then you could put your hand, just like Barbara's doing, one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And now the experiment comes, right? Breathe in, filling your belly. Let it go up to the top of your chest. And exhale, chest out and belly out, yeah. Which one moves easier? Or can you do them both? Now imagine your back ribs. And just as your breath goes in your lungs, it moves your back ribs. Our lungs go all the way down to our waist in the back, but they are up at the bottom of our ribs. You know, in the front, they're shorter in the front than the back. So can you send that movement into your back ribs as well? To me, that makes a big difference, me personally, when I can do that. Imagine my breath, I mean, it is, but like, let my breath move my back ribs.
Back ribs.
Back ribs, yeah. So, front, back, everything. And release. And was there anything as you played around, if you feel any different now? Yeah.
I got caught up in what I know I'm supposed to be because I do breath work.
Yeah, right.
I knew what I should be doing, and then I caught myself making a very common mistake that I always do of not breathing.
Right. Yeah, and we're concentrating, don't breathe, right? You know? Does your breath, is it more familiar in the exhale or the inhale? Julia?
I think in the exhale.
Yeah, me too.
And what I also noticed is that I have more tension in my chest than my belly.
Yeah. Yeah, because as you send your breath around, the awareness around, it's like, here's something here. So that's kind of the experiment with your breath. Now we'll do a Feldenkrais thing with breath, okay? Because I always like this stuff. All right, ready? And you'll do as you can because you know your body's recovering from. So bring your shoulders up to your ears. And then drop your shoulders. Bring your shoulders up to the ears again. And drop your shoulders. And as you do this, notice, just keep doing it, notice which way you're inhaling and which way you're exhaling. What do you notice? In,
up on it,
in, up,
down on the out.
and yeah. And this is hardwired in humans. It's called the startle reflex. When a baby is born, they go, you know, it's the startle reflex, and they breathe in with that. And
Do it a few times a day.
yeah, right. So that's what's hardwired with us. We all have that. It's all in, always in and shoulders up. Kind of interesting, huh? So what Feldenkrais asks you to do, is do something that does not occur in nature, right? Okay? So this is going to take concentration. Breathe.
About the startle response, it's also one of the things for PTSD.
Yes, Yes, right. If you've had any kind of trauma like this, you're right back in the startle response. And almost all of us have it at some level, but thank goodness.
So that's what happened last week.
Yes, you had a trauma. You were attacked last week.
So I would have gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So this might be an interesting thing to to play with here and then do it at home too. It's very gentle. So Feldenkrais is, you do it the opposite, right? So just, Julia, you're doing this. So breathe out when your shoulders go up and in when your shoulders come down. And out, come on, Barbara, out. And in when they're down, and one more. Out, up, and in, down. Okay? And then pause. And notice where your shoulders have landed.
Are they meant to feel more relaxed? Because it
They're-
actually does.
They're meant to be more relaxed.
Okay, so doing it the opposite way.
Let's this part down. Let's this part
Ah.
relax it. Because many of us go around, I do, with elevated shoulders.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? And so instead of put your shoulders down, remember dance class, put your shoulders down. Yes, you can. But this is a way to trick your nervous system to find out where your shoulders actually belong. You know?
I got a real problem with that, going through that all the time, and it's the spine and from the car accident.
Yeah, you had
I
an
also
accident too.
I gained eighth of an inch.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember 5'7" and 7 1/8 is it? What's your name? James Patrick Casey. You're stretched next.
Yeah,
Supposed
this
to
is.
be 5'8". Then in 1998, I was 5'8".
Yeah, wow.
I had the ribs. I had to keep the ribs and
Yeah.
the spine.
Yeah.
It's good, it hurt.
Yeah, so this is a different way because when our shoulders are up, there's a fear reflex. We're just giving ourselves fear.
So if I find myself in a tense situation,
Uh-huh.
this is one of those things I can do that's sort of like sneaky self-care.
It is. It's sneaky self-care. Exactly. Yes. And it kind of like, oh, this is where my shoulders belong. Because and then here's another piece from Alexander's stuff. If you take your one hand, and find the part of your neck that's bumpy out in the back. That's the 7th cervical vertebrae, right? And so say hello to it with your fingers. And then it's the one that sticks out. You can push your head forward and stick out more, whatever. And then go up to number 6, say hello. And number 5 and 4.
And just to be clear, that's the dip in between the two humps in the back.
No, not in the back of your skull. It's all the way in the back of your neck. So back here. Oh, these chairs move out nice. Way down there, the bottom of your neck, down on your back.
Okay.
And so you're moving up your spine. 3, 4, 3, 2, and you can't. And 1 goes right up inside your skull. So your head and your neck are not attached really by bones or anything like that. Yeah, that's your atlas. And so your head is like this and your spine goes up in there, so you can be a bobble-headed doll there. And how you know it is you put your fingers in your ears, and that line is where the top of your spine comes. Way up there.
Wow.
And you can roll your head over, roll over your spine, Yeah.
And that rolling wolves. See, I have a problem. Yeah, my atlas was way out.
Yeah, so just use
I
your,
feel like I'm gonna sleep, but then if I crack that atlas, I'm
Wow. Well, that's how you fix it. That's how you deal with it. But just even the picture, the imagination of where it comes. Yeah, as you're saying, yeah, right? And it's a little bit over, like as if we can imagine it, it's like, oh yeah, kind of like a axle or something, you know? Yeah.
It's hard for me to hear some of the questions, so if everyone could speak up.
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's less of a question from James, but
Yeah.
but a
It's important
connection.
commentary.
Yeah, like when you had your accident, you had to get yourself stretched, and so. Oh, here's another one to play with your breath. This.
Of course, the second accident, the Atlas being out, I closed my eyes and went off the road.
Went off the road when you're, oh my goodness, yes. Yes, very scary. Okay, so here's another experiment, and I'm glad these chairs are soft because we're going to find our sits bones. And we're going to put your hands like this under your butt. Under your butt. And you feel those little round balls there, protuberances. Yeah?
Oh, directly under my butt.
Directly
Okay.
under your butt. Yes, right, directly under there. And that's in the bottom of your pelvis. It's so our bodies are so cool, right? Because these are your ischial tuberosities, but I call them sits bones because we sit on them, right?
Mhm.
So here's an experiment. Arch your back a little bit. And you just arch your back, make an arch. And then go concave, go sink in, sink. And no, not that much, James, just easy. And then arch again. And sink in. You feel it moving right along your fingers, right?
Mhm.
You know? And let's do it as subtly as we can. We can do an emotion. Let's do an emotion like, oh, I'm nervous. Or, oh, I'm relaxed. You feel it move, just even those feelings, right? So it's so sensitive, so sensitive. All right, so this is the experiment. Slip your hands out and just notice what you feel.
I feel like there's a freedom of energy
Yeah.
on my butt.
How's your breath?
Relax.
Got a nice relaxed breath. Did you notice anything, Mariah?
The word that comes is a little more expansive.
More expansive. Now, because you had that accident, you're sitting in a very careful way, kind of like back in your chair a little bit. Can you scooch toward the front of your chair and let your spine, if it hurts, don't do it.
Like that. You mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then repeat.
Yeah, repeat and see what. Yeah, and if anything hurts, don't do it. Okay, so you're not going forward like this. You're sinking and you're arching. There you go, and you arch a little bit. Yeah, yeah. You feel it rolling along your fingers. Okay, now come to center and pull your hands out and notice what you feel. What do you notice?
I feel some kind of releasing of all the tension.
Releasing of tension. Yeah.
Not realizing what I had been holding.
Yeah. I don't realize what I've been holding. Tension. Yeah.
I just take those bones for granted. I never even think about them.
I know.
I never think that those ball-like bones are there.
Yeah. And they're giving you messages all the time. So, I'm slumped in the chair, which I slump too. It's like they're not helping me breathe very well because it really expands your breath, right? And of course, when I am on the computer, I get very nervous on the computer thing. And I get, so this is one thing I do. I definitely do because it's like, grounding, solid. My breath comes back. I've been holding my breath, etc.
Your hands on your butt.
Yeah, I do. I have a chair that's, I'm not in a big fancy office or anything. I'm just doing computers at my home.
But even if you were, there's a chair hiding it, so.
Yeah, right. Right. So those are kind of
Time I heard the word sits bone was in
in
a yoga class, actually.
yoga class, right? Because they talk about that too. And these are very wired into your nervous system. And they give you all kinds of messages which you don't. And you know, kids are told, sit up straight. So they go, they're scared like this and they're arching and they're not on their sits bones, right? You know. So
Would you say, were you in your body as a child or teenager? Were you very present in your body?
I don't know. It's a good question. Was I present in my body as a child? I probably was scared, you know, scared that I wasn't doing it right or something like that. You know, as I got older, I got safer feeling. Yeah, it's a good question though. Okay, so there's a bunch of different breathing things. Well, here's a quick breathing thing, then we're going to do some grounding. If you are trying to clean your glasses, sometimes you go on your glasses, just as soft. So breathe in through your nose and breathe out as if you're just a very gentle fog kind of. And, out. So breathe in through your nose and gentle out, going like ha. And in through the nose and out through the mouth is a very settling kind of breathing, right? And then bring in through your nose and go hoo out through it's like stronger. Hoo. Yeah. Hoo. So do you know when you do that? When do you do that? When do you do it with a who? There's no right wrong. It's just different.
When you're doing qigong, sometimes it makes sounds.
Yeah. So there's different sounds for different exhales for emotional things like singing, of course. But this is like very gentle. In with the nose, gentle out through your mouth. You can encourage your, shoulders to go down. Or for me, if I've been lugging things and everything else, I've been doing stuff, and then I go, whew. And it's kind of lets tension away.
And so that sound, who, relieves tension?
Yeah, they both relieve tension, but the other one is like tension has built up so much that you're kind of blowing it away, Phew. People have phew, when something's finished.
I live up several flights of stairs in my building, and I'm sure I make a lot of sounds.
Yeah, right.
Going up.
Right. The older I get, the more sounds I make too,
I'll have to listen.
Okay, let's see.
There's neuroscientists had something similar. He was talking about like you're crying, children, where so that you would breathe in and then like you would do it after you just had a long cry or a hard cry.
A long cry, and the body does something. We're not going to do it here, but practice. But you're putting it into the circle here. That you go, after a long cry, then the human mechanism is. So try it. Like you've had a long cry, and you exhale, and then yeah, and then there's a sort of calming thing for people. Children do it naturally, and we can do it ourselves if we want to. Yeah, so many interesting things. You do breath work, a lot of breath work, your own breath work. There's so many different.
Energy medicine, I want to talk to you after class.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do some grounding stuff. We did an experiment. Well, when you sit, your feet are on the floor. Julia, can you come away from the back of the chair and sit? Yeah, there we go. And how are you doing with your sits bones on the chair? now, like this. It's different. If you know,
Oh, yes.
you're back, yeah, and then your sits bones are right under you, right? Yeah. So that's already we talked about sits bones and grounding, and now our feet are on the floor too. I'm jumping around here. Okay, here's one that I have done before, and then we experimented before the group started. Scooch do a little butt walk. Walk on your sits bones. Walk on your sits bones to the front of the chair. You know, I used to have music on, and we used to do butt walks back and forth and back and forth because it was
These
nice
chairs
for the
have
spine,
very good
right?
wheels.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, okay. Stick one leg out and put it on the heel. You know, okay, and your toes up. So, can you do it without your knee bent? So scooch a little bit closer to the front, James. Yeah, and your knee is straight. Okay, so just make your foot do a little windshield wiper. Yeah, and we can move the chairs. That's so nice. And just, it's a windshield wiper. And we're playing with our hip joint. So put your hand right on your hip joint. Yeah, this is your hip joint. When they say put your hands on your hips, that's your pelvis. So put your hand on your hip joint, the part that's moving. There you go. And yeah, and you're not doing with your arch. You just like your whole foot is going back and forth. And you're breathing. You're doing all that stuff too. Okay. And you know, you can use imagination, any kind of tension you have. You can imagine rolling down your straight leg and rolling into the floor and rolling down into the earth. It's getting recycled. You know, you don't have to keep that tension there
Should we
anymore.
keep the other hand off our leg if we're releasing energy?
No, it's down this one, down the windshield wiper leg.
Okay.
So let it roll down, and let it roll and go into the earth. You know, any tension you don't want. Okay, so here's the experiment. Put your feet together, lean forward, and stand up. Push the earth away from you, and then you're standing up. And that's something. Now walk around. Have a little walk around. Feel one leg and the other leg, and notice if there's any difference between how one leg connects with the floor and how the other one does. Anybody notice a difference?
The other leg feels so stiff,
Uh-huh.
and this one feels so limber.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Anybody else have a different?
I feel my right foot is more connected to the floor.
Yeah. More grounded. More connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ball of the heel and the ball of the foot
Yeah.
seem to, notice.
The heel and the ball of your foot.
It's like this leg feels full, like complete,
Ah.
and the one that we didn't do feels incomplete.
Yeah. Complete and incomplete. That's interesting.
Or alive and less alive.
Yeah, yeah. Now Feldenkrais would do things. He would do stuff. People would do stuff on one side, and then he wouldn't do the other side for a long time, and people were walking around like this. And he said, "Oh well, the nervous system goes with pleasure, you know. And so if this is pleasurable, then one side teaches the other, and then if you if you want instant gratification, however." You can sit down on the chair, do a butt walk forward onto the edge there, and do the other leg. Remember the straight knee. That's the important part, because with the straight knee, you're allowing your hip to have the movement, and as you breathe, you exhale. Sometimes people imagine breathing into your hip. You know, I mean, you can imagine anything you want. Yeah. And you're just enjoying that movement. And people who have hip pain and stuff like that, if they can do the best they can, they're not pushing anything. They're just, they're heel is like the fulcrum or whatever it's called. And they just do the best they can and they breathe, and it's a lot easier.
I have to do that in the morning. Well, but do the teeth.
Yes,
Can you do both at the same time?
you can. You can try it.
This has been recommended as a movement to do with your arms and your legs when you go to bed.
Oh, that's
To
cool.
relax.
Yeah, to relax and to open up the joints.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Don't fall off the chair. You do an
One
arm,
doctor
then
told me
like.
to go over there, the other one said Rice Krispies.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, good. So we're so experimenting with what we have and what we can do. Okay, let's see some more. Do you want to have oh, look what time it is. Ooh. Okay, we'll do something. Here, stand up one more time. Oh, this is a cool thing. If your feet are parallel, lean forward over your legs and push the earth away from you. And that's like an interesting way of imagining to stand up, you know, with the whole earth. Okay, so here's another thing. Experiment. Imagine yourself like you can recognize a friend walking down the street, you know, and we all have our own signature ways. So we'll play with this. Just bring some weight to your heels. Is that familiar? Is that not familiar?
Not
familiar. First time one of my teachers got me to do that, I thought I was going to go over backwards. I was scared because I tend to lean forward into things, and there's the tension in my legs unnecessarily, you know. So yeah, so when you kind of come back, and you know, we're not going to do much with Alexander-ish stuff, but this is how we are the most balanced on the earth, that we can find our ways, that our knees are, so a lot of people have their knees braced, like, you know, don't really brace them, but you know, there are people who stand with their knees braced. Yeah, and well, I'm not going to spend my time here, but you know, in the military, and you're braced, and you know, I would do an experiment with somebody's braced, I can push them right over.
Ooh.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they want, you know. So, but you know, if you're a warrior
Push 'em right
stance,
over.
yeah, you can. In a warrior stance, you have soft knees, and you can move one way or the other. Okay. And we had some I had some ideas of different ways to experiment. Like, if you imagine if you have your shoulders coming toward each other, walk around, see how the rest of your body is, you know, and bring your shoulder blades back to each other. And people are, you know, you can be, you know, who are you? You can be, what does your chin want to do? What does your attitude want to do? You know, attitude. And then let your shoulders just hang and imagine yeah. So all those different things. We could do that with pelvis and all this stuff, and toes and feet. And if we had time, we would do more. And
You
we'd
walk into me?
could experiment with how we would do it. So all the different ways to play with your body. And we're going to do more stuff with energies before the end of the group. But these are things that you can do. My friend and I, after class, we were experimenting with this. We were in New Haven, and we were off for lunch, and we were walking down the street behind people walking as they're walking, and then we turn around, somebody else going this way. And we just did that the whole time, trying on their personalities, right? Yeah. Good thing we weren't stuck. So anyway, okay. So let's see what we can
Smile
do.
with your parents.
Well, lots of things, lots of people. Let's take a seat for a moment then. So we're just gonna, as you imagine yourself grounded on the earth, we'll do something with energy, hands. Okay. Oh, we could have done this standing. Oh well. So Ilana Rubenfeld wrote a book called The Listening Hand. And Rubenfeld Synergy, it takes years of learning how to do it, but you have your hands and you're listening to somebody else's body. You had a session with me before, listening to somebody's body. That's can be saying what they're really saying or not, and we can kind of have a little dialogue. But here today, we're going to listen to our own bodies with our hands. So the first thing is get the energy in your hands and rub your hands together, right? Okay. And you can feel if your shoulders are, see if this doesn't work with the shoulders up, but if we've been breathing and doing our self-care with breathing and finding our way on the sits bones and getting ourselves balanced, yeah, you can let your hands go away from each other and toward each other. And away and toward. And after a while, you might be able to feel some kind of energy force. You call it like a cloud. I call it almost like a ball of energy right there. And play with it. Go away until it lets go. And then toward each other. You got it, right? You feel it? You feel it, Barbara? You feel something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's
It feels a little thicker, thicker, and then you go away, and let's go a little bit. Yeah?
Maybe.
Okay, play with it more. Yeah.
Almost like magnets.
Like magnets a little bit, right? Is that cool? Yeah, you're getting it now, right? So you have that energy in between your hands, and you can go. You two can play with it. We can play with it. You two, James, you and Barbara can play with it. And face your hands toward each other, and just see if you feel that, and pull away. And there you go. There it is. Yep. And pull away. And then you got it. Yep. So come back to your own. I'm just, yeah, good. Okay.
I don't know if I do.
So come on back to your own.
It's like an energy.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, Barbara,
Do it
that's
slow. Put your hands close and look in between.
okay. So Barbara, swing around. Everybody swing around, because we'll just give you. This is just for you to play with.
Yeah.
Okay. Now find in your body some part of your body that's asking for some attention. It's contacting you, and our bodies, right?
Yeah.
Through either pain or whatever, are talking to you. And put your hands with our energy where that is on your body. It could be what's asking something from you. And just breathe with it. And this is the listening hand. Your hand is just listening to what that part of your body is saying. And you're not fixing it, you're listening like a good friend. And it's telling you something. And a lot of times people, when they have pain, they just want it to go away. But really it's trying to ask you something. Or tell you something. And you listen with your hands, and you have a little dialogue, or the other person was asking, even a negotiation too, yeah.
Can you give us an example, like if you're talking to your body, like
Yeah.
what that sounds like?
Sure. Well, if there's actual pain, like I have a pain, I have an arthritic neck. So my neck is saying to me right now, I know that I hurt when you turn to the left, and I don't want you to forget me, though. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. So I'm avoiding the pain, but my neck is saying, no, give me a chance. I can move slowly. Just at this moment, I was surprised at what my neck was saying.
I like that, the listening hand.
Yeah. That's the name of Alana's book, The Listening Hand. Right? And if my heart is hurting, is there other kind of pain, miss my daughter. It's like, my heart is saying, yeah, So all that kind of stuff. And this is what you can do. I know time is coming along, but these are tricks of the trade for self-care, which means that you give yourself the time and space to listen and to experiment and to know, oh, I'm not stuck in the situation that I feel trapped in, necessarily. There's one more thing. I'm looking at the clock here. Come on, stand up again. Roll, push the earth away, and those people.
What was that one again with the lean forward?
Lean forward over your knee, over your legs, and push the earth away.
Oh, okay.
Push. Don't sit down until your chair is closer. Right? Yeah. Okay. So this is the last little trick I'll give you. It's
We can go.
okay. It's like, this energy field, right? If we had more time, I would just check, like I could. Yeah, there's your energy field, right? We have auras, we have energy fields around us, right? So here's something. We can adjust our own mood, right?
That's nice.
Isn't that cool? This is really cool. If you are feeling down,
Anxious.
if you're anxious, okay, here we go. If you're anxious, here's your energy field, sort of from somewhere out here, and you soothe it down like a cat. Like you're just down the front of your body. And you're breathing, and you're feeling the earth under you, you're doing all this stuff, right down the front of your body, not the sides. Just down. Okay, and then down, and I taught little kids about this. You send it out into the floor, and go, and you can do the breathing down the front of your body, yeah. Yeah, and all that extra thing, okay. So that's cool. It's cool. Very cool. And then, of course, if you're feeling
sad?
If you're sad, or if you're depressed, or if you can't go on any further and you don't really want a cup of coffee, this is what you do. Up, right in the front of your body. Just here's the front. Yeah, up. There you go.
What about breathing in the color?
You can use color, absolutely. Ericksonian stuff, all the imagination, whatever colors are good. Yeah, I'm going to do a demo with somebody who'd be willing to do a demo. Yeah? Okay. All right. Go step forward a little bit so don't step on your cup. Okay. And face me this way. Okay. So, I don't want to hurt you because you've just been but take one arm and put it at a 45-degree angle to your body, not front or here, but just up to the side, 45, okay? Good. All right? You got nice and grounded. Okay, I'm going to just test and see how strong you are. Okay?
So be
don't let me do it. Yeah.
good.
Okay, good, got it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Yeah, okay. All right, drop your arm and just stay there. And I will go like this. Okay, put your arm out again, that same way. Resist my arm. It's just gone, right? Right? So we'll just drag it back, yeah. Do one more. Okay, put your arm out again. Okay, resist. And she's back. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that something? Because
Yeah.
it just shows. It affects the scapula, you know. And when somebody's angry and they make a fist, it also freezes the scapula. So make a fist. Okay, so see, these are solid. Now let your fists undo. Yeah, you feel that? Yeah. So it helps. I mean, people do that. They don't want to get themselves hurt. Yeah. So what was that like with this?
This is what came up. Judy's referred to something I briefly mentioned to her, that I was assaulted just a week ago in the lobby of my apartment building in Kingston.
Yeah.
And it led to the emergency room, and we've got some aches and things that happened from that.
So I'll just say it a little louder so that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you were assaulted in the lobby last week. Was taken 1 week ago today and was taken to the emergency room, and you're recovering still.
And this showed me, just bear with me so I can gather my thoughts pretty quickly. I'm a shamanic practitioner, going to the earth for healing. And it came to me a few days after, maybe just a day or two afterwards. I went down into the lobby by myself, and I just cleared the space with light, and I called myself back from the experience.
Uh-huh.
And so a week later, I'm noticing I'm feeling very empowered. I've been taking action steps. People have come into my path, like someone from a woman's agency that helps people, helps women. Just things like that have been happening. And I have energy. I'm not, the crying part has passed.
Yeah. Well,
This showed me.
Yeah.
Keep tending
Yes.
to your body.
Yes.
And my word was optimism.
Yes, it was optimism.
Beautiful.
Here you
So
are.
I will let me shapeshift this experience I have.
Yeah.
I'm able to send just light to the person.
Yes.
I don't want to engage, and I may be moving
Uh-huh.
because of the history.
Yes.
It turns out violence in the building. However, I'm feeling, and this has been so helpful
Oh, thank
to
you so
bring
much.
me more into my body.
Yeah.
I think that's why I asked you if you were you engaging as a child? Because I think a lot of this life I've been out of my body, not in awareness of the body.
Yeah.
So even this going, whoa.
Right.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just say this so that, because I have a mic and I want to make sure
Okay.
that your story is
Yeah.
out here, because you were, you went back to the scene of the crime, to the lobby, and you brought in energy.
That's true.
And you brought in energy to give yourself the solidity and the strength to keep going forward and taking action steps. And things have come your way, like the women who have been helpful and other people have been helpful. And here, getting
And
into your body.
It was right after that I got the notice about coming. I said, I'm going to that.
Right. So these things have been coming for healing. So when humans are meaning makers, and this is the opposite of being a victim, right? Yes, so yay you. I'm glad you were here. Yay.
You gotta be an unwarranted optimistic.
So let's end.
Optimistic.
Let's very good. Mystical, very beautiful. So let's end when we're standing in a circle anyway. We're standing, the good earth under us, or somewhere under us. And a word, just think about what we did in the last hour. We did a lot of experiments, awareness of something and experiments. curiosity. What's one thing that you're taking with you, or a feeling that you have that you'd like to share? One word, if you can.
Inspired.
Inspired. Okay, good.
Freedom.
Freedom. There you go. Freedom.
Choice.
Choice, yes. Yeah.
Resonance. Resonance.
Resonance. Ah, good.
I have 2 words.
Of
The
course.
first word I heard is grace,
Grace.
and the second is an infusion.
Ah, grace and infusion. Right.
Judy.
And I feel gratitude, tremendous gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for coming. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Yes, yes. Good, good, good. Yay, us.
Yay.
We did it. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Good, yes.
really
I'm
nice.
glad you were here. Yeah.
I've known about you for many years.
Oh, good. Finally
So I
meeting
finally
each
got to
other.
experience you.
Finally meeting each
Yeah,
other. Good.
yeah.